one of the things that we do actually is we do, and it's partly due to COVID as well, we kind of had to adapt. COVID was kind of good for us as an organization at a time where we kind of had a moment where we could reflect and think, okay, cool, how can we do things slightly differently? So we started doing some online sessions, and ironically what you're talking about is what we spoke about on Thursday. So one of my mentors is a barrister, criminal defense barrister, and why it's a great representation, obviously you don't see many black barristers, right? So the fact that he was able to come in and speak to our young people about not only his journey, the fact that he grew up in Thornton Heath and he was one of only a few black boys that went to St. Joseph College, you know, the school. But his journey has been quite a meteoric rise, and now he like presents and hosts TV shows, etc., or goes on TV shows, should I say. So he spoke, and I asked him quite a pertinent question about young people that he represents. So he's a defense barrister. So I asked him, what is the difference when you first meet a young man at the first day at court and that moment when they are found guilty? So he says the bravado that this young person displays in the first couple of days at court, and, you know, everything's all normal to them. It's a situation where they're kind of seen, and you know it yourself, but they kind of see it as a bit of a status symbol to even be in that situation because they think that, quote unquote, they're going to bust case, right? But that moment when they get found guilty, their whole persona changes. And he's talking about screaming in the cells, distraughtness, crying, to the point where he even went to the extent of talking about people that he's represented committing suicide. And that side of the story never gets spoken about or exposed to young people before they even want to step into that life of crime. And I think that's an important point as well that I want to make. The young people that we work with are not solely difficult, bad kids at risk of exclusion, etc. A lot of the work that we do is actually just trying to prevent that stuff from even perpetuating in their life. So it's just about putting on positive activities, trying to give them reason, hope, development, new opportunities, as opposed to, because I think sometimes it gets looked at, you work with a difficult kid, you work with the bad kids, the kids that no one wants to work with. Yes, we have challenging cases, but equally, the majority is to just try and keep these kids on the straight and narrow, because fundamentally, the reason why we started as an organisation is because there's not enough out there for young people.